we don't like to go through the learning. And I'm sure you did a shit ton of learning becoming a pediatric cardiologist. Wow, I can't imagine how much schooling that was.
Mm-hmm.
So you know the process. And now while it sucks, you know you're going to get through it.
Yeah.
But we got to change the meaning about this situation. Welcome to the Do the Impossible podcast. I'm Jason Dries. Don't forget to join me every Monday at 10 a.m. Central for my free mindset alignment call. To get a copy of the invite, go to mondaymindsetreset.com. On today's session, I'm excited to be talking to Adam Putschoegl. Is that right? Putschoegl?
Putschoegl, yep.
Adam is a pediatric cardiologist. Wow, that's some important work. Married, 3 boys of his own. And when he's not doing that, he's doing real estate and biking and woodworking and all sorts of cool stuff. Good to talk to you today, Adam.
Good to talk to you too.
So how you sound like you do live an amazing life with a lot of really cool stuff. Like, how can I help today? What should we talk about?
Well, I feel like I've been in a bit of a rut lately.
Okay.
And have done some other coaching to kind of work through it and reframe it a bit as more of a plateau.
Mm-hmm.
And just knowing there are plateaus in life and trying to be okay with it. But have really had my first financial issues in my adult life,
mm-hmm.
and dealing with some unsavory characters that have really had an impact in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just made a lot of things kind of go on hold until that gets resolved.
Okay. That sounds like an interesting story.
Yeah.
So your situation is you feel like you've been in a rut, and for the first time in your career, you're having financial issues with some unsavory characters.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like coaching on?
I guess just working on the mindset where not allowing these external circumstances to have as much of an internal impact.
Mm.
You know, sort of thinking of like, these people are living rent-free in my head.
Yeah. And you want to evict them.
I sure do.
Now, is it one scenario? Is it multiple scenario situations? Is it one person, multiple people?
It is primarily 2 people, 2 different situations. It's really kind of down to 1 now at this point.
Okay. And you're asking me, how do I stop thinking about them? Is that what you're saying? Or is it being
reactive? I mean, how can I still deal with the situation, but sort of move on from the most stressful parts of it?
Well, how does this situation make you feel right now?
I mean, stressed is the primary word I would use.
Like, why are you stressed about this situation?
I was supposed to be repaid a bunch of money that hasn't come back, and mistakenly allocated those funds for future projects that are now happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's concern about having capital to complete the projects.
Okay.
Is what is the most stressful.
Okay.
And a potential foreclosure that would be tied to my name.
Okay. So that's the situation.
Mm-hmm.
How long has this situation been causing you stress?
Probably 4 or 5 months.
Okay. What meaning are you giving this?
I think I'm giving it a lot of meaning, and when I look back in hindsight on the decision making that got me into this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's feeling dumb about it or feeling foolish, naive, I think there's a lot of meaning to that, and meaning it like being a provider for our family, having plans for our family that need to go on hold. I think there's a lot of, I'm blanking on the word, like disappointment, failure.
Okay.
A lot of that.
Are you taking action to correct it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you taking as much action as you should be taking to correct it?
I feel like I am.
Is that action working?
Yeah, I mean, I initially talked about two of the issues, and now it's down to one.
Okay.
Because yes, I did take action, and that is nearly resolved. So
Okay.
yes, it is not the outcome I wanted, but it's at least allowing me to put it behind me.
Okay. So right now with this situation, the meaning you're giving it, was, well, you're feeling stressed.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I asked about the meaning of this situation, because the meaning determines what you feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going through challenging times. The meaning that we have when we're going through a challenging time that's causing us stress or fear or angry or anything like that we don't want, there's usually a meaning for that situation that's created by our subconscious mind or our mindset based on our past reference on what we believe about that situation. Because in this moment right now, we cannot change anything. Like in this moment right now, the amount of money in your account is what it is. The bills are what they are. The people in this situation are doing what they're doing. In this moment, it's fixed. Now, the next moment it can change, but right now it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a situation, and then there's your reaction to it. The fastest way out of this spot is to get out of reaction to the situation and into alignment with the ideal situation.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is until we learn how to do that, we end up having the same reaction day after day after day. And all of a sudden 4 months go by and we're feeling the same way about a situation.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like feeling it. So that's where we need to learn how to change our mindset, because your beliefs about this thing are determine how you react. And it also, and then being in reaction determines about what you do next. Because if you're feeling stressed or dumb or foolish, that's not going to instill a lot of confidence to go do something else. Mm-hmm. It's affecting your forward movement. So it's like, we need to get you out of this spot and then back into alignment with who you are. Now, are these real estate deals?
Yeah.
How long have you been investing in real estate?
Almost 3 years.
Okay. Do you follow Brandon Turner?
A little bit.
Do you know who he is?
Yes, absolutely.
How many dumb things in real estate do you think he's done?
Oh, dozens.
You haven't heard the story about his own plumbing, where he was like too cheap to hire a plumber, and there was a clogged toilet at one of the houses, and the people were like sick, and he was carrying this toilet full of like waste, and it like spilled all over him and stuff. It was like, yeah, like, so when we don't like to go through the learning, and I'm sure you did a shit ton of learning becoming a pediatric cardiologist. Wow, I can't imagine how much schooling that was. Mm-hmm. So you know the process, and now while it sucks, you're going to get through it.
Yeah.
But we got to change the meaning about this situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
To get you moving again, because you could be one phone call away from a deal so big it makes all of this shit irrelevant.
Oh yeah.
But if you're so stuck on this, then you'll never hear the phone ring. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's why it's like learning how to manage your mindset. And this is where coaching comes into play, because the coaching that I do is specifically how you change this. Right. Mm-hmm. So in this situation, now, given that this situation right now is what it is and it can't be fixed in this moment. And when you started this call, you were out of alignment with where you want to be because you were in reaction to the situation, feeling stress or dumb about it, or feeling like you made a mistake, whatever that may be. How would you rather feel right now about this situation? If you could feel any way, what would it be like?
The word that comes to mind is resolved. It's not really a feeling. I just think of like if it were all resolved, there would just be a feeling of relief. I think a feeling of more abundance because there's money in the bank account. And I think a feeling of being able to move forward to another project.
Okay. Okay. So then what would you have to believe about this current situation in order to feel resolved about it, relief and abundance because there's money in your bank account?
I mean, I would have to see that the individual who is
No. Oh, no. That's the future, right? We can't change the future.
Oh, yeah.
You can't change the future, right? We can only change right now, right? Because it's easy to believe it when we see it. That's easy, right? But that's the hard part is believing it when we don't see it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing right now. And I've actually had this conversation 4 times today. It's actually funny, because it's really like success in life is believing it first and then it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So let me ask the question again. In this specific situation you are right now, instead of feeling stressed or dumb or foolish, how would you like to feel today about this present situation?
At peace.
At peace. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you have to believe about your present situation to feel at peace about it?
That it'll work itself out to my favor.
Okay. Why?
Why will it work itself out?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll keep taking action to make sure it gets there.
Okay. Say that one more time.
Well, because I'll keep taking action.
Yeah. You said it'll work itself out to my favor.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So repeat after me. It'll work itself out to my favor.
It'll work itself out to my favor.
Because I'll keep taking action until it does.
Because I'll keep taking action until it does.
That is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. That is a fact.
That is a fact.
Now, the situation's still not ideal.
Now, the situation is still not ideal.
But just might be. The exact lesson I needed to learn.
The exact lesson I needed to learn.
To get even smarter in business.
So this
shit'll never happen again.
So I can
level up faster than I ever thought possible. Because I'm one phone call. One text message.
One
DM. One moment. Away from my greatest deal ever. And my life is amazing. Breathe. How's that feel?
I mean, it feels great. It feels possible.
Yeah. Well, because what ends up happening is we get stuck in these reactions.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're having a reaction, you're having this energetic reaction to the situation. And until we process that energy, it's not going away.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have done this 4 months ago, but you didn't know how. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this practice here, what I would encourage you to do is to file this away for future memory, that the next time you get in reaction, you need to get out of reaction, because as soon as you get out of reaction, then we can shift into alignment with what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically I took you through, uncovered the meaning of the current situation and created a new meaning, replaced it. Then you went from reaction to alignment, and now we're aligned you with what's next. Because for all we know, your income in business could just completely explode in an amazing way in the next 2 years. Mm-hmm. And this was that little dip right before the beginning of it that you're going to look back on and go, oh my God, this next thing wouldn't have happened if I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't tell you the number of times when I thought it was the worst thing ever, but it led to the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Now, during the process, it still sucks. But still,
yeah.
But but as soon as we get realigned, it's easier.
Mm-hmm. And it is some of the, I have had some of that self-talk where, this is the cost of tuition and this will make me better faster. And
mm-hmm.
it's part of that process.
Yeah, absolutely. So anything else?
That's really that was the big thing right now. Honestly. Okay. I mean, I do live a pretty darn charmed life.
That's awesome. I think we all have. Yeah. I'm sorry for cutting off there.
I mean, it's been good, and there's still a lot to be grateful for. So.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. Everybody has had the lesson of who to do business with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be careful who business with. Now, I'm curious. Did your gut give you any indication of that early on, that you shouldn't work with them?
I would say not this one, but definitely another one.
Yeah, without
a doubt. And I've been keeping a list of lessons learned.
Yeah, and just like let's just trust that gut, right? Because my first business was a company called 986 Incorporated, and we designed and manufactured race car driver cooling suits. And we took a lot of our funding from this one person, and the money came from their spouse. The spouse was the one with the money, but this person, they invested us, and then they gave us more. And we foolishly took notes that they said they would never call. Then 5 years later, there's a divorce, and then we get thrown under the bus, and I get sued. Which actually was a very terrible situation and stressful and horrible and awful, and actually was the foundation of my entire coaching program today, methodology I discovered when I was trying to get myself out of reaction to the lawsuit. The belief change I did with you just now, I did it to myself in 2014 when I was freaking out because I was getting called by all these text messages from my attorney, and I didn't have any money to pay him.
Mm-hmm.
So that terrible situation led to that. But looking back now on the situation, if I would have sat with it, I would have known he was the wrong person to do business with. But the money was there. So I was like, I was young, naive. Didn't know anything else. So I would have said yes, versus it was basically a business or no business. So, but now when I'm operating, I can know. I just talk to somebody. I'm like, nope. Like I just look at somebody. I'm like, nope, they're not for me. Not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would encourage you to lean more into that, because I guarantee you use that part of you in your day job.
Oh, constantly.
So, so you use that part in real estate too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just because you're 2 or 3 years into real estate doesn't mean you don't have decades of experience of using that.
Yeah. No, I see lots of people and lots of different situations. So
yeah.
That's absolutely part of my everyday.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Adam, you good?
I'm good.
Awesome. Well, it was great to connect today.
Yeah, you as well.
Awesome. And thank you, everybody, for watching the Do the Impossible podcast. I'm Jason Dries. If you'd like to get a sample of coaching, go to freeintrosession.com, and my team will give you a complimentary 20-minute introductory coaching session. Until next week, when we continue this dive into the evolution of human greatness, I'm Jason Dries. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.